Hi, boys and girls. This is Miss Gigi with a special 2020 Census counting book. It's called We Count. This book is for young children and the grown-ups who love them. Let's read along together to learn all about the census. Who counts in America? Every 10 years, we answer that question by counting each and every person who lives in this country. It is called the census, and the next one starts in March 2020. In the last census, many families forgot to count their babies and young children. So, here's a book to help everyone learn to count. Young and old, we all count. Oh dear. Sorry about that. I am Miss Faith. I am 1 where I live. Young and old, we all count. How many people live with you? In this book, my friends and I will help everyone, young and old, learn to count in the 20 census. Here's how this book can help all of us count. Kids can learn to count by using the beads as you read aloud. These are the beads right here. And then together you can search the page for answers to these counting, color, and culture questions. And grown-ups will learn how and why to count for the 2020 census. So who should count in the 2020 census? This book has the answers to who counts for all kinds of families. No two families are the same, but everyone must count each and every person, young and old, that lives in his or her household on April 1st, 2020. So what is a household? To the census, a household is the people that live at the same address. There are many different kinds of households. In this book, you will meet families who live in a house, an apartment, or a mobile home. Some people live in households with only their relatives. Some people live in households with many different people. Let's learn together how to count all these households. My name is Katya. We are 1, 2 where I live. Young and old, we all count. What color is Katya's dress? That's right, it's blue. And what color is Katya's mother's shirt? Correct, it's red. Katya lives with her mother most of the time, but when her mom works late, Katya stays overnight with her grandma or with an aunt. Who should count Katya on the census? Her mother puts Katya on the census because Katya stays most nights with her. Children should be counted where they sleep most of the time. Some kids sleep at different places, so it may not be clear where they spend most nights. In that case, count that child where they slept on April 1st, 2020. My name is James. We are 1, 2, 3. Young and old, we all count. Oh look, James' new baby brother is still in the hospital. Let's think of a good name for James' brother. Look at his baby brother. Now this is tricky. There are 3 people where James lives, but now there are 4 people in his family. His mother just had a new baby, but the baby is still in the hospital. Who should be counted? This is a tricky census count. New babies that are still in the hospital are counted with their family. There are 3 people where James lives, but on the census there are 4 in the household. James, his parents, and his new baby brother are all counted on the same census. Don't forget, even tiny babies still in the hospital need to be counted on the census. The census is done every 10 years. If James or his baby brother are not counted, then how will his community know what they will need for the next 10 years? If James is not counted, there may not be a seat ready when he starts kindergarten. Child care programs may not have a spot for his baby brother. My name is Sophia. We are 1, 2, 3, 4. Where I live, young and old, we count. Sophia, her brother Kadir, her mother and her father all live together at the same address. So who should be counted? They are all counted as one household. In the last census, many families forgot to count their young children. So, the government did not know about these children. States get money for child care, schools, and health care based on the number of children counted in the census. Our community sure could use this money. Hey, I see a green bead. Can you find it? Here's a hint. I'm pointing to orange. I'm pointing to purple. And now I am pointing to... Do you see it? That's right. The green beads are on the flower. Do you see that here? Very good. My name is Frankie, and we are, count along with me, boys and girls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 where I live. Young and old, we all count. Frankie, his brother, Tomas, this is his brother Tomas, and his sister Nina, live with their grandparents, Nono and Nona, but their grandparents live in a building that is only for senior citizens. So if anyone asks, they all pretend that Frankie, Tomas, and Nina are just visiting. Who should be counted? Well, Frankie, Tomas, Nina, and their grandparents all count on the census. True answers to the census will help their community. They will not be in trouble for those answers. Why? By law, the census is private and answers are not shared with anyone, not landlords or police. The information is only used to answer big questions about communities, like How many people live in this city? What are their ages and ethnicities? Questions like these help everyone understand what people and communities need. For example, if the census shows that a neighborhood has many young children, the local government can plan to open another school, change laws, or build new housing so children like Frankie, Tomas, and Nina can live without worry in their grandparents' senior housing. My name is Maria, and we are, count along with me. Here's Maria. Let's start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 people where Maria lives. Young and old, we all count. Filling out this census form will be a bit tricky. Sometimes there are as many as 6 people where Maria lives. But Maria's brothers are not living at home right now. Juan lives with his aunt. Carlos is in the army. Rosa is Maria's foster sister and lives in the household now. Who should be counted? Well, only 4 people. Maria, Rosa, her mother, and father are counted on the census. Children in foster care are counted where they live. So, Rosa is counted with Maria's family. Juan is living with his aunt, so he should be counted on his aunt's census form. Family members in the army, like Carlos, will be counted by the military. Anyone living away from home, at college, a prison, in a homeless shelter, an elder care facility, or any other such place will be counted there. So, in this, there should only be 1, 2, 3, 4 people counted on the census form. My name is Sammy, and we are, let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 people where Sammy lives. Sammy and his sister Aisha live with their parents and grandmother. Many relatives stay at Sammy's house when they first come to live in the United States. Uncle Omar is living with them right now. So is Cousin Joe. Who should be counted? Anyone staying at Sammy's house on April 1st, 2020, with no other fixed address should be counted. This includes Sammy, his mother, father, grandmother, his sister Aisha, and Cousin Joe, who is here to study. And don't forget Uncle Omar. Even though he is sleeping on the couch until he finds a new place, he is counted with Sammy's family. Sammy is 6 years old. Can you find the number 6 bead? What color is that bead? That's correct. It's yellow. Hi, my name is Frida, and we are, count with me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Frida lives with her parents, her brother, her grandma, her aunt Elena, and 2 cousins. They move every spring so Frida's parents and aunt can work. Who should be counted? All of Frida's family should be counted where they live on April 1st, 2020. If Frida's family does not get a census invitation with a census ID number, it may have been lost during the move. Frida's family can call the census helpline to find out. The phone number is on the last page of this book, or they can take the census online without their census ID number. Can you find Frida and her mother in this picture? Here's a hint. Frida's mother is wearing a shirt that is the same color as bead number 4. Let's see. That's right, bead number 4 is red. Is there anybody in this picture that's Frida's mom? That's right, there she is. And here's Frida. Very good. My name is Shanti, and we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Young and old, we all count. There are 9 people who live with Shanti. Let's count together to 9 on your fingers. Wave your hands. Wave your fingers. Let's start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Very good. Shanti just came with her mother and father and a favorite doll to live in the United States. Luckily, another family from their village has turned their garage into a home where Shanti and her parents can live. Who should be counted? Shanti and her family live at their own private place, but they share an address with another family. So, they will not receive a letter or invitation in the mail from the Census Bureau with their census ID number. But Shanti's family needs to be counted. Shanti's father can call or go online to complete their census on a non-ID questionnaire form. He will give the location description as a separate unit located at the shared address. My name is Patience, and we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Patience and her mother live in apartment 5G. They do not know some of the people who share 5G with them. Many people come and go. Some are friendly, while others are quiet. Who should be counted? Every person living in 5G, young and old, must be counted together on the same census form. Any adult living in 5G can fill out the form and should be sure to include everyone who lives there. Even if this an illegal sublet, it is safe to give the census this information. Only census workers will see this information. They will not and cannot, by law, share it with the landlord or with housing, immigration, or law enforcement officials. If the form is not filled out a census worker will come to the apartment to help fill out the form. If you don't want this visit, then the form needs to be completed by the end of March. Some grown-up talk about the census. If you were going to throw a wedding or invite all your neighbors to a party, your first question would be, how many people are coming and how much food do we need? That counting of guests is a census. How does the census work? In March, every household will get a letter from the United States Census Bureau. This letter is an invitation to take the census. Each letter has a census ID number. You will use that number to fill out the census form. You can fill out the form right away if you call on the phone or go online using a computer or smartphone. You may also get a form in the mail to fill out in writing or call to ask for a written census form. If you don't fill out the form or don't answer all of the questions, a census worker may knock on your door in May. Check their ID and talk to them. They're likely to speak your language. I don't care how many people live in my community. What does this census thing have to do with me? We all pay taxes, right? Sometimes it feels like that is all we do. A tax on your paycheck, a tax on things you buy, taxes on things you sell. Some tax money goes to your state, some goes to your county or city, and some, called the federal or national taxes, go straight to Washington, D.C. All that tax money adds up to about $900 billion. Think you have no say about where the government spends that money? You do. The government uses the census numbers so they know how many people live in your community, the ages of people in your community, what services your community is likely to need, how much money to send back to your community to pay for those services. So, if you take the census and are counted, then the share of money you paid in taxes comes back to your community. That money pays for the services all our families need and use. Don't want a census worker to knock on your door? Then fill out the form right away, online, by phone, or by mail, or call the number at the end of this book for help. I'm taking the census to support my family and community. Frida's dad knows that in 2010, many young children were not counted in the census. So, for the past 10 years, many children did not get their share of $675 billion a year that funds their health, education, and housing they need. Your children, family, and our entire community need you to fill out the census and bring that money home. Census numbers make sure funds are sent to the communities across the U.S. so James can get the best child care when his parents go to work. So Sophia has doctor visits her parents can afford. So Maria's foster care sister has a home with a family who is there for her. So Frida can go to a school right down the street and get lunch for not too much money. So Katya, Frankie, Sammy, Shanti, and Patience and their families and all of our families get the services our government promises to us for paying our taxes, like the fire department, highways, even garbage collecting. Government services all of us use and need are based on our responses to the census. The amount of money a community gets for programs that keep children healthy and strong is only decided by the census numbers. No politics, no deals, just answer to one question: how many children live in this community? If your family is not counted in the census, then the government doesn't know you are there. Your share of the money can go to another community. The census is more than money. The census is about democracy. If you and your family are not counted in the census, then your community will have less power, voice, and representation in your national, state, and local government. The U.S. Congress has 535 voting members, 100 senators. Every state, no matter how many people live there, sends 2 senators to Congress, 435 representatives. But every 10 years, after the census, the number of representatives each state can elect is redivided. More people means more representatives. Some states and other government bodies like city councils also use the census to divide the number of seats in their state, county, or city legislature. The number of people living in a state even determines how many votes in the Electoral College that states has to elect a president. What I hear about the census and immigration is confusing. People are confused about the questions you will be asked on the census. The census counts how many people there are in a country, no matter their age, race, ethnicity, or immigration status. It does not ask about your citizenship or legal status. It does not ask when or if you came here from another country. There is talk in the U.S. right now that suggests that only some families and some voices count. But the United States is stronger when each of us counts. Most of the families in this country came here as immigrants. Some that came 100 years ago were also told they did not count. Your family and your community matters and deserves to be counted. Fill out the census form so each and every one of us counts in the story of America. Here's a side note. Of course, if your family has been here in America much longer than many of us, be sure you count too. The census counts Native Americans, Pacific Islanders, Alaska Natives, and other First Nation peoples. When you and your children are counted, tribal governments receive the right amount of funding for so many of the programs that your family depends on. Question: how do I know or trust that my answers will be private? Privacy is important. Getting the right count is also important. Here is how the people who run the census protect your privacy. Your census answers are separated from your name and address. The information that connects you to your census answers are locked away. By law, your private information cannot be shared with any person or government agency. It is not shared with the IRS, not DHS, not FBI or CIA or ICE or even your landlord. Census workers take an oath to keep your answers private. They can go to jail for up to 5 years and pay a $250,000 fine if they break that promise. Your census answers, without your name or address, are added to everyone's answers and used to explain the big picture of your community, city, county, or state. The answers from millions and millions of Americans can then guide decisions for government and business planning. Census data is used to answer questions like, how many high school students should our town expect in the year 2025? Where is there new housing that needs a supermarket that sells fresh fruit and vegetables? Question. We read that the census will be online. How will that work? In March, you will get an invitation in the mail to take the census. This invitation will give you a census ID number and tell you how to take the census online at my2020census.gov. The safest way to take the census online and make sure you are at the right place is to type in the address yourself instead of following a link. Don't fall for a fraud. The Census Bureau will never ask for Social Security numbers, bank or credit card account numbers, money or donations, or anything on behalf of a political party or ask what party you belong to. Not an internet person? The phone number to call and take the census and questions is listed in the back of this book. Taking the census won't take too much time, just 10 minutes. Young and old, we all count. Remember, you will get an invitation from the Census Bureau in March. You can take the census on the phone, online, or by mail. If you call, a real person who speaks your language will help you. It will only take you 10 minutes to take the census, but it will help bring millions of dollars to your community to pay for schools, child care, health services, and other programs we all depend on. Everyone should be counted no matter age, race, ethnicity, or immigration status. Count everyone where they live on April 1st. Count all kids. If your baby is still in the hospital but born on or before April 1st, then count him or her too. Your answers are private. Your name and address are separated from your form to give a big picture of your community. To take the census online, go my2020census.gov. Here are the toll-free numbers for each language. Who counts? We count. Thank you so much for sitting through this We Count book, which was published by the Census. I hope you will find the time to go online, call, or submit your 2020 census. The links and information will be on the description below. Thank you so much. This is Blitza signing off. And please go to our Facebook and Instagram pages for more information on programming or information on electronic books and other services we provide. Or you may visit us at our website as well. All these links will be listed in the description below. Thanks again, everybody.